Hello, this is yours truly, Charles Prosper, your consistency success coach. And in this installment, I want to talk about what happens when you plan for 100% perfect consistency with all good intentions. Well, as I heard one time, I don't know if I read it or if I heard it. If you want to make God laugh, just tell him your plans. Because the thing is, I don't know if life tests us or what it is. It's hard for me to say for sure. But when we start out on a roll to do something and we are definitely on track and we right on the beat and we're not missing any days and everything is consistent, it happens. Something happens to throw us off track. It's probably life's way of testing you to see how serious you are. So that's where consistency rule number 4 comes in. When you get off track, you get right back on track as quickly as possible and stay on track for as long as possible until some unexpected event throws you off again and you have to quickly go back on track again. So that's what this installment is all about. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, let's go. Let's see what's going to happen. Hello, my friend. I was thinking early this morning. Many times I get up in the early morning hours, 3 a.m., 3:30 a.m., and I start to think about my subject of consistency. And on this occasion, the thought occurred to me, is it possible to always be perfectly consistent if one has every intention in the world to do so? And the reason why I came up with this question, and I'm going to give the particular answer to this question, is because I had set, this is very interesting because in my channel on consistency, I put out consistently a YouTube video on the subject of consistency daily, every day. And my commitment to myself was that no matter what, I was not going to skip. On my behalf, I was not going to skip. But then I realized that things happen, life happens, S happens, and in spite of our best intentions, we may find ourselves having to skip without any intention of doing so on our own. Let me explain to you exactly what happened. I have been on a roll now with my consistent YouTube videos every day and haven't skipped a day for the last 2.5 weeks. Every day I produce one. So today what happens is that I go to create my installment and realize that I have no internet. I have no internet connection in order to produce and upload my installment to YouTube. In spite of all of my best efforts, life says, I'm not going to let you do this day. And I'm going to see how you're going to handle it. So what happened was that for an entire day, the internet was off and I was forced to skip in spite of my best intentions. And there have been other occasions where I have seen consistency thrown off, not because one intentionally said I'm not going to do it, but life oftentimes decides that it's going to throw you a curve. And you have to make a decision that whenever this happens and you get off track, the rule is get back on track. This is one of the consistency rules that keep you moving towards your goal. If ever you find yourself that you get off track, the rule is get back on track as soon as you can and stay on track for as long as you can. Now, there are times, for example, let's say you are consistent in going to the gym, and every morning you get up, say 6 o'clock, and you go to the gym and you get your workout. Now, what happens? One day you get up and your car doesn't start. Totally doesn't start. And so now you are forced out of your routine, not because you wanted to, but because life happens. In this particular case, you have two options. One is to do the best that you can do with what you have. In fact, if it's, for example, the case of the gym, and you can't go to the gym on a particular day because your car won't start, then you see what you can do in terms of doing some type of exercises at home. Have a backup plan that you can do some similar type of exercises at home so that you don't skip completely. There could be another case. Let's say you're a writer and you have committed to writing your book, spending an hour and a half or 2 hours every morning to write on your book, and you haven't missed one single day in over 3 weeks. So you get a call from the airport. It's your childhood friend who's flown in from out of town, who needs you to go and pick him up from the airport. This is one of your childhood friends that you hadn't seen for maybe 10 years or 15 years, and it's a surprise that this particular friend has arrived in your city and needs a ride from the airport. So what are you going to do? Tell the friend, no, I'm not going to go pick you up because I have to finish writing for another hour. No, you postpone your writing for this unexpected circumstance of going to pick your friend up. And then in the case, if you're thrown off your schedule for that day, then you have to immediately get back on schedule the next day at that time. So let's say you are studying for an advanced degree, and you get up every morning at a certain time, let's say 7 a.m., and you study for an hour for a particular degree that you're working on. But on one morning, your daughter gets sick and has a fever. So you have to take her to the doctor for an emergency checkup because she's really feeling bad. So you're not going to continue writing while your daughter's sick, that's for sure. So you're going to stop. And you're going to do what you have to do. You're going to take her and make sure she's okay. So you've gotten thrown off in this particular instance, due to no fault of your own. The only thing you can do is the next day, as soon as you can, get back on track as soon as possible and stay on track. You see, the whole thing is this. Theoretically, it's possible to be consistent because you have determined to do so every day, going toward a particular goal. But probability-wise, it's not probable that you will always be able to be consistent no matter what. Now, this is not an excuse for those people who are looking for one to skip. The idea is that you want to shoot for 98% of the time, 97% of the time to be consistent when it's no fault of your own. But the idea is that on your part, you always will have the intention of doing what you have to do in terms of being consistent for a certain schedule that you have set out for yourself. Life may throw you off, but you have to find yourself back on course as soon as you possibly can. So the whole question is it possible to always be 100% consistent? In theory, it's possible, but probability-wise, it's not likely because there are a myriad of circumstances that can possibly throw you off But this is not an excuse for you to go back to your old ways because you have been thrown off of the path on a particular time due to no fault of your own. The principle is get off track, get back on track as soon as you can. This is the path and the principle of the person who has decided to be consistent. So, there you have it. Whenever you find yourself on a roll, not having missed a single day of your consistent schedule, it is possible that you may be thrown off the path due to no fault of your own because of the fact that life happens. But your idea is to stay consistent as much as you can for as long as you can and aim for that 98% consistency or 97% consistency, and you will be in the class of who we call the winners, people who achieve their goals. So that's the message for today. Okay, there you have it. The whole idea is that your intention is to be 100% consistent. That's your intention. And I would say that in theory, 100% consistency is conceivable, but probability-wise, as life is full of unexpected turns and events, it's probably not going to be feasible to expect 100% consistency, even though it's your intention. I think if you shoot for 98%, I think you're doing pretty good. So, before we go, I would like to invite you to my community of consistent-minded people at the Prosper Consistency Success membership site, where you will be among a group, a community, a family of consistent-minded individuals where we help each other stay consistent. In this membership site, you will have access to accountability partners who will help you to stay on track and stay focused with your goal, as you will be assigned to someone else to help that person stay on track and stay focused with their goal. Additionally, you will have access to live coaching calls where you can ask questions to get help on any specific problem or challenge that you may be having in your quest to stay consistent. So, before we go, I would like you to visit right now www.consistencysuccesscoach.com, and you will be glad that you did. And I must let you know that I produce daily consistent installments on the subject of consistency. How about that? So I don't want you to miss out on any installments. So I would invite you to like and subscribe so that you'll get future installments as I produce them. Well, as I like to say before I go, I would love to say this again before I go. Stay consistent and be successful.